Hi, I'm Sunita Rao. I'm the Chief Nutritionist at NU Hospitals. NU Hospitals caters specifically for renal diseases and renal transplantations. If you are somebody who's waiting for a renal transplantation, the waiting period can be a few months to a year or more. So this is the time when you can actually utilize for optimizing your nutritional status. The dialysis period has a very specific nutritional requirement. Anybody who's on dialysis will require a very high protein diet, and at the same time they will have to monitor their electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and they will also have to monitor the fluid intake. All these are quite a few challenges when it comes to everyday meal planning. Now, if you are a vegetarian, you will have to look for vegetarian sources of proteins like lentils, pulses, paneer or soya chunks in your everyday meal to up your protein intake, because in every dialysis session of 4 hours you may lose somewhere between 10 to 15 grams of protein depending upon the kind of dialysis you undergo. If you are a non-vegetarian, then you can include egg whites and small portions of chicken and fish, that is lean meat basically, to improve your protein intake. So whatever, whether you are a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian, increasing your protein intake in your everyday meal is very important to maintain your nutritional status. Now apart from that, you have to look at the amount of potassium you are getting in your diet. So make sure that you get a potassium list, a food list with potassium content from your healthcare provider where you are undergoing dialysis. And it is very important that this potassium list has to be specific to the Indian foods. It's just not fruits or vegetables that are very high in potassium. So many other foods like some cereals and even non-vegetarian food will be very high in potassium. So depending upon your potassium requirements, you will have to monitor, restrict or eliminate certain foods that are very high in potassium. If you're someone who's gaining a lot of weight between two dialysis that you are undergoing, and you are told that you have to restrict your fluid intakes to a great extent, you may also have to look at the amount of salt that you are consuming. Because if you eat a lot of salt or if you take more salt than what is allowed for you, that will make you put on more weight, because you start retaining a lot of water, and also you will not be able to control your thirst if you eat a little extra salt. So whatever salt prescription your nephrologist has given you, whether it is 3 grams of salt per day, 4 grams of salt per day, you will have to very sincerely stick to the salt intake. It is just not the food that the salt that comes in your food, but the salt is also in your diet if you eat a lot of fried food or processed food or packaged snacks. So you have to look for salt in the food that you buy also. It is very important to look for food labels when you buy processed food. The water intake also will be limited, and hence the fluids in a day, basically the water and any other liquids that you consume like the tea, coffee, buttermilk, gravies or the sambars and the liquid dal, all these are actually counted in the amount of fluid that you take in a day. It's just not water. So make sure that you measure out the portions of liquids that you take in a day. Even if you are taking ice, that comes under liquid, because anything that is liquid at room temperature has to be measured when you take. Use small containers for drinking water so that you can keep up to your fluid prescription. Most importantly, you have to avoid processed food and food that comes from outside, because all packaged processed foods will have a lot of phosphorus, an inorganic form of phosphorus, which adds to the phosphorus content in your diet, and these salts are very easily absorbed by your body, and hence these are really not good for you. So avoiding packaged foods, processed foods, street foods is a very important instruction that you have to remember. So when you up your protein intake, that is increase your protein intake, maintain your potassium levels by using a potassium chart, and limit the processed foods or outside foods, and control the liquids and the salt in your diet, you will be able to maintain good nutritional status. And with good nutritional status, your transplant outcomes will be much better. Your serum albumin levels can be improvised, and the risk of complications will come down. If you need any further guidance regarding the diet that you have to follow or a meal plan that you have to follow, you have to consult a qualified renal nutritionist. And with the good nutritional status, you will be in a much better position to go for transplant surgeries and recover quickly from the surgery. Take care, best of luck. Thank you.